5, I think.
This is the special Christmas episode.
Yeah, the post-Christmas post-back.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to Shack Out Back. I'm Jim, and that's the other voice is Dan.
I'm Danny Markle.
And today we're doing the Lighthouse today, right? That's what I chose.
Yeah, he chose to watch that movie, The Lighthouse, directed by the director who directed the movie.
Robert Egers is his name, I think.
Robert Egers.
A movie
did
about,
he?
Yeah, a movie about two men who want to fuck a lighthouse. That's what the movie's about.
Yeah, so was that your second time through watching it, or your third?
My second. It was
Second?
today. I rewatched it this morning.
Yeah, so I watched it a couple days ago now. Not long enough that I forget anything. Probably like half a week, maybe.
Do you want to start this off with just like what we've been doing, what we've been playing, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Dan?
I mean, we are both white men who celebrate Christmas.
Where's this going?
We celebrate Christmas, that's what I'm saying. We're both white guys who celebrate Christmas, so I mean, Christmas this year has been kind of messy with COVID and everything. It's kind of been changed.
COVID-y, yeah.
So I haven't really seen any of my family. I saw my mom and my dad a couple days ago.
Yeah, usually I have the whole big Christmas shit at my house, and it's nice to see everybody, but it's also been nice to like.
Yeah, it has been.
I just chilled at home. I went to work and then chilled at home and then got drunk and didn't have to talk to anybody. It was great.
Yeah, it is quite nice. I'm actually liking it quite a lot. But
what have you been up to? This is 2 weeks since we talked over the podcast, I think. So what have you been playing, Dan?
Realistically, I've been playing. What did I finish?
You got your VR headset between us recording.
Big boy thing. I got the Oculus Quest 2, so a lot of people are kind of on the fence about it because of the whole Facebook integration thing.
What is that? Is it just
you need a Facebook account to log in.
The boomer-ass Facebook account to get in there. Okay.
Yes, you need a Facebook account to log in, and you can find horror stories of people's Facebook accounts getting banned, and then bye-bye all your games. So
all my thousands of hours in Farmville.
Yeah, so it doesn't bother me very much, just because I think the whole privacy ship has sailed a long time ago with all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really bother me to log into my Facebook account, and they'll know that I've been playing copious amounts of anime-related Beat Saber songs.
Or copious amounts of hentai.
VR porn.
Through,
Yeah, so I got that, and I also got the Quest 2 is a standalone headset, so you can use it fully by itself. You don't need a PC, don't need anything, but I bought it I think it's necessary in my case. I bought a link cable with it, so I can pop it into my computer and go through Steam VR. So my God, I've got the whole everything there.
It's like light games you can play without the link cable, right? Like watching a movie in a movie theater in VR. Is it stuff like that?
It's actually a lot more than you'd think. You can play Beat Saber through it. You can do Jurassic Park Aftermath just came out, which I didn't want to say when my girlfriend was in the room, but I got Jurassic Park Aftermath, and I'm not going to tell her until she puts it on and plays it. But
do you think it'll scare her, or what's the game?
Jurassic Park Aftermath is like Alien Isolation, but you're on Island Nublar with velociraptors and stuff.
You're a horrid man, Dan.
But no, it can actually play quite a lot of stuff. Like Walking Dead Saints and Sinners just got a full Quest 2 release. You can play Walking Dead Saints and obviously textures are lower and frame rate's lower, I believe. But
how's the whole motion sickness and stuff like that going for you?
Me, it doesn't affect almost at all. I'm pretty decent in it. The only times that it's really affected me was something moving your character in VR without you doing it yourself. Yeah. So like in a game called Echo VR, you start in a little pod and it rockets forward. So you're not moving, but the character's moving in the pod. That makes my legs feel a little bit jolty. And then Mission ISS, because you're flying around in a 3D space simulator, so you can turn all around and grab the sides of the ship and rocket forward. That made my legs feel they didn't know what to do with that.
They turned into Jello. I've never tried VR. I'm gonna be excited for COVID stuff to be
done.
Go to your place.
Yeah, I'm very excited. But yeah, what have you been doing?
You played anything besides VR games?
Not a whole ton. Like realistically, I finished Unravel 1, and I finished Yakuza Kiwami, the first one.
Mm-hmm. You had talked about that.
But yeah, no, other than that, that's kind of it. I've been kind of taking it easy lately. I was working quite a bit before stuff, and I had to finish all my exams, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me, personally, the new update for Stardew Valley came out, which is the biggest update he's ever had for the game. And I've enjoyed a lot of the content that I've seen so far. I'm going through it slowly on multiplayer with some friends. I've enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I got some stuff in the Steam sale. I've been playing Black something. Is it Black something?
Black Mesa?
Black Mesa. Yeah,
Black
it's just
Mesa?
called Black Mesa. I've played Half-Life 1 before, and like I was telling you, it just suffers from a lot from... Even though I've played it before and I've gone through the whole thing, it still suffers from where the fuck do I go itis. Like, you smash through something and you see a ladder fall, and you go around the area for 20 minutes trying to look to where to go, and then finally you're like, oh yes, this ladder that's the same color as the wall that I can see.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'm trying to think what else I've been playing.
Tell me, what else have you gotten in the Steam sale? Because we both play basically strictly PC. You still have a PS4, and I have a Switch, but 99% of my stuff is on PC.
Yeah, I like having the PS4 for exclusive stuff. Like, I have God of War waiting, and the Uncharted 4 expansion I haven't done yet, and I'm planning on playing those soon.
Yeah.
But I also got a Plague Tale, which I've never played. Have you played that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I played that this year sometime. It's very good. You're going to like it.
Yeah, I like that. It looked like very story-dense stuff, and I enjoy that. And I also got Prey. And I already know the spoilers in the plotline for Prey.
Yeah.
I was just watching a video, and I'm like, fuck, that looks fun to play.
It's very good. I wanted to probably play Prey again this year. It's quite good.
I reinstalled Rainbow Six Siege and just to play with my friends, and that game is fun. It is kind of dick-rippingly annoying sometimes, and my friends like playing the terrorist hunt and not playing online, which is very
so
annoying.
Weird. That is so weird.
Yeah, so I've been jumping into like just unranked puppy games, and it's been fun just talking to people and fucking around. It's nice to have like a multiplayer game in the background just to have fun with. Like lots of people play Call of Duty, but I don't have the attention. Like my brain doesn't work at 10,000 meters a second in order to play that.
No, but kids are better than me at shooters now. I just get angry.
I don't think I've been doing much of anything else. I've watched some movies. I rewatched Gremlins and Gremlins 2 for Christmas.
God.
The Gremlins 2 is like a fucking good-ass film. Very fun.
That's not the one where they turn into the big death ball, right? What was that one? That was a Gremlins knockoff that we watched.
that was Critters.
Critters! That was Critters.
I remember you rented Critters, and we were both excited to watch it because Red Letter Media had
it was
done a video
horrible.
on it. And it was like... It wasn't horrible in a good way. It was fucking boring.
Yeah.
There was like 2 good scenes where they shot at some critters, and that was it. Not like Gremlins. Gremlins is like bam, 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 bam. It's very fun. The first one's definitely not as good as the second. And the first one, you can tell that there's just so much fucking fake snow over everything. It's like they were like, Jerry, get the fake snow gun. And then he started blasting it all over everything. Like the cars are coated in this disgusting fake snow that doesn't even look real in the slightest. It's very funny.
You won't know if it's winter unless you have fake snow and a blue filter over a lot of the things.
Ah, yes, Kerchunk. Stick that winter filter on. Christ.
Yeah, I'd say let's. I want to hear what you have to say about the Lighthouse. So, Lighthouse came out this year, obviously, 2019, or is it from 2018?
It's from 20. That's not this year. It's
or 2020. Shut up.
It came out in 2019, I think. I think it came out like towards the end of the year. Yes, and I think it's the first thing this guy's directed since The Witch, and I saw The Witch in the theater, and it was definitely one of those movies that I wish I saw in like an IMAX or something,
yeah,
the big screen. But I watched it. We have this cinema in our hometown that's called Rainbow, and it's got like these shitty little rooms with like bad screens on them, and I watched it like that, and it was me and my cousin and a bunch of like people in their 40s, a bunch of normies, and we watched the movie, and I fucking loved The Witch so much. And as soon as we left, I heard people be like, well, that fucking sucked. And it's definitely one of those movies. It's definitely one of those movies that either you really like it or you really hate it.
Rainbow Cinema is also a nice place that about halfway through a movie, maybe 50% of the time...
Oh, I forgot about that!
Some opioid addict will wander in and fall asleep in the back seats and then start to snore.
What the fuck were we watching where that happened? Because it was just me
It was
and
a late
you.
show. It was just me and you in the theater, and then about halfway through, a dude wandered in, and we went, he totally doesn't have a ticket, and he fell asleep in the back of the theater
He was
light.
He like I don't remember what the fuck we were watching, but we were watching something, and he just came in, like fell face first into the chair, like not too far from us, was giggling, and then fell asleep.
And the movie ended. Movie ends. We get up. He's fast asleep,
like dead to the world asleep.
Rainbow Cinemas, good old
Good stories. Good stories you get from there.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy The Witch? Did you?
Oh
like
yeah, I like The Witch a lot. That's with the spelled with the 2 V's, right? The Vitch. Yeah. I like that movie a lot.
I think it was the best movie I saw that year. I think it was either 2015 or 2016, and it definitely was
that old?
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, the best movie I saw that year. That movie had a lot of.
From 2015. Holy.
Yeah, that movie had a lot of historically accurate stuff, and that's something this director focuses on a lot, like keeping the accents and all the technology and whatever very true to when the movie's set in. Like The Witch was set in colonial times, like there are a bunch of Puritans, I think, in that movie.
Yeah,
and it sold it very well. And that's kind of what I expected, to have that same level of authenticity to go into this film, The Lighthouse, and it definitely met that too. So, How did you watch The Lighthouse? Did you go see it in the theater? Or?
No. I looked up when it was from. It was from May 2019. If you asked me that, I would have said this movie came out a couple months ago, because I did not hear anything about it up until really recently. Anyways,
that was the same thing with The Witch. My cousin was just like, "Hey, do you want to go see this movie? It looks fun," and I was like, "Yeah, okay."
But no, we watched The Lighthouse on Prime Video, just in our place. Pretty decent sized TV for the room, anyways, and a nice soundbar and stuff.
I didn't see The Lighthouse in theater either. I just got the Blu-ray a couple months ago, and I watched it, and it was fucking good, so good. I watched it at home too. I don't think that watching this film in like a theater either would really help or hinder or anything either, just because it's.
Yeah,
the aspect ratio is almost square.
Like, oh my god, yeah, I noticed that right when it started. Cassie was like, "Is that the aspect ratio?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're not going to change it either. It's going to be square for the movie."
And it's even like, I watch a lot of old movies a lot of movies set like were made before the 50s were in 4:3, and I watch a lot of those. It's even narrower than that. It's even smaller. I remember I was in university, and it was in a Canadian cinema class, and my teacher made us watch this movie that was like literally like a sliver in the middle of the screen, and it reminded me a lot of that, where it's just like looking through like an arrow hole in a fucking castle at a film. It was very fun. Reminded me of that. And so The Lighthouse is just like this historical drama piece.
How do you describe it?
It's a movie set in, I think it's the late 1800s or something, and it's about these two guys who go to this lighthouse island that's very cut off from civilization, just to take care of the lighthouse for a month, and they get stranded there and they go insane, basically. That's like the proper way to look at it, maybe? Like the narrative way to look at it? What actually happens and what is actually the setup, but then piled on top of it is all this random fucking weird nonsense that the film just basks in, which really sells it for me anyway. Yeah. What did you expect out of this movie when you heard of it? Like Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe on an island going insane. Like, what was your thoughts about it before going in? I expected a lot more of a straightforward narrative, anyways. Like, I expected a lot more of a start, middle, and end, and it's one of those movies that just blurs together, and time is kind of it doesn't matter when Like, yeah, what are they? They're supposed to be there for a few months, or 1 month? 1 month. Yeah, so you could have told me they could have been there for 6 months. They could have been there for 3 years. Yeah. I think that there's a line in the movie, too. It's like, how long have we been on this rock? 2 days? 5 weeks? And that's in a bunch of the trailers and stuff I saw, too. Yeah. And it's very accurate to this, too, where you can kind of track the first couple days, and then it's after like non-Euclidean nonsense. Yeah. It's a clusterfuck. You can be like, okay, the first day he got there, he's doing the whole chores. Robert Pattinson's on the main floor doing the chores, and William Dafoe's in the top manning the light. And then it's like the next couple days, and it's like, okay, well, this whole room is now fixed, and there's like a garden, and the light's been going on for a long time, and they're exhausted. Yeah. It's very strange. It really, like, puts you out in the middle of the ocean with no raft. Like,
yeah, because the whole thing is, I guess lighthouse keepers are supposed to switch their jobs. The one dude stays awake all night looking at like manning the lamp, and then the other person kind of does the groundskeeper stuff.
Well, I really don't think it's supposed to be like that. I think it's I guess it's supposed to be like that, but I think it's more of a shared responsibility between the two.
For the
yeah, but this movie definitely, Willem Dafoe's like the old grizzled fucking sea captain on this lighthouse island, and he's the one who takes charge. Is like, I'll look after the lamp.
Yeah,
and then Robert
just
Pattinson
forever.
just does all the bitch work. Yeah.
It was very interesting, to say the least. What did you think about it your first time relating to your second time?
I definitely, because, The Witch is a weird film. Like, a lot of weird fucked up shit happens in The Witch. Like, that baby getting grounded up into stew and stuff. Yes. So I was expecting fucked up stuff to happen. But same thing with you. I was expecting more of, like, a gradual descent into madness. Whereas this film is much more, like, of a Lovecraft perspective in the motif and the monsters and stuff too, where it's just like it just starts as soon as they get there. They just start falling apart.
They're lunatics as soon as they get there. How they talk to each other and the dynamic that they have, immediately they're like, yeah, this isn't proper.
What do you think about Robert Pattinson as an actor? Have you seen him in much of anything?
I mean, obviously it's Twilight. Everyone knows him from Twilight. Was he in any other huge things that I would have even recognized?
I don't think he's been in a lot of like huge. He was in Harry Potter. He was in the fourth Harry Potter movie.
Really?
As remember, it's like the guy who dies after they get like the cup or whatever.
Isn't he the new Batman? Something like that.
He's also the new Batman, but I've always seen Robert Pattinson after Twilight in these weird little films. Like, I've seen him in, there's one called The Rover, it was him and Guy Pearce. And I've seen him in this movie called Good Times, which is on Netflix. The same director who did Uncut Gems.
Huh.
He's also in this movie called Cosmopolis, which is a David Cronenberg movie. And I have to say that no matter the quality of the film, because Cosmopolis isn't that good of a film, he always is I liked him in this. So committed to his role. He's such a good actor. He's definitely one of my favorites. Just in he gives everything to when he works on something. It's so good to watch him work.
Yeah, I really liked this. Speaking of small weird roles for an actor that was huge at one point, it reminds me of Daniel Radcliffe. The movies Daniel Radcliffe does now are real out there.
Yeah,
he's separated from Harry Potter completely.
I don't think that Robert Pattinson is along the same lines of a
popularity or anything.
Or an Elijah Wood.
Yeah,
those guys made Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and they're just fuck it. They make whatever. Yeah, they do whatever.
They don't need to make the big movies anymore.
Lord of the Rings guy was in this remake of Maniac, which is this horrible fucking serial killer film where horrible shit happens in it. And then Daniel Radcliffe was in a movie recently. You remember that one where he has guns nailed to his hands?
Yeah, me and Cass watched that pretty recently, Guns Akimbo. I didn't think Guns Akimbo was very good at all for most of the movie. But he was in Swiss Army Man and Jungle and stuff.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Those movies are amazing. And he also did the weird shit after Harry Potter. Do you remember Horns?
Oh, where he was a fawn?
Yeah, he had he had horns.
Fuck. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. This is what happens a lot too. I like a actor and actress a lot. The girl from Edge of 17 and True Grit, I forget her name now, but she's a musician too. I don't remember her name. How can I even look it up? Haley Steinfeld. She's a great actress. Everything I've ever seen her in has been amazing. And she was just announced to be in the new Marvel movie or something. And then Robert Pattinson's doing Batman. I'm just why the fuck are they wasting their time? I don't mind superhero movies. There's some that I like a lot, but they're just nothing films. They're not my thing. Yeah. And I'm sorry that these actors are wasting their time with them.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you even say the Lighthouse's premise? I mean, yeah, you said two guys go to a lighthouse. They're supposed to be... They just go into madness. The whole movie, it doesn't really have... what happens at the end of the movie is canon? That's what happens?
See, I think that on my second like watch through of this, I saw a lot of more cyclical shit, like Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. I was listening to the director's commentary today, and they're just called young and old in the script. Like that's just
really? They did? Yeah, I guess like they had names, but not really because they kept. Yeah, they're both named Tom.
Yeah, but okay, so the old guy said that he lost his old partner who went insane and he had one eye, and then Robert Pattinson finds his head in a lobster trap. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, Robert Pattinson is missing an eye. And also the gull that attacks him also only has one eye.
Oh, really? I did not know that. I didn't
that he like slams to death only has one eye. So I think this might have those like overtones of like, oh, he's stuck in purgatory or something. Because you never see the faces of the other lighthouse keepers who leave either.
They're walking away. I did notice that. You never saw anyone on the boat, anything. They just left the house and went away.
The only actors who are in this film are Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, the girl who plays the mermaid, and then the guy that Robert Pattinson killed, who he just keeps seeing everywhere because he has a guilt complex about it. Like, is this like? I would say that this is one of the weirder films I've watched recently. But like, is this like the weirdest film you've ever watched, Dan?
See, I wish I started like a letterbox or whatever they're called to just keep track of the shit that I watch. It was definitely out there. Like,
I think I've made you watch stuff like David Lynch movies before, too.
Yeah.
Did I make you watch Mulholland Drive?
Yeah, we watched Mulholland Drive. Like, this was weird, but it was the type of weird that you could still watch in a movie theater. It wasn't like the type of weird, like
a David Lynch weird where like, you think there's a plot going, and then just nonsense goes on. You have no idea what it is.
Yeah, like, have you ever heard of a movie called The Wolf House?
The Wolf House, no.
The Wolf House is a movie that... It was a Russian movie from 2018 where a woman... I believe the premise is a woman takes shelter after being kicked out of her village, and she finds an old shack that has 2 pigs in it, and she lives with the pigs, and it just goes into madness. That is not the type of movie you would want to watch in a theater. It's like a stop-motion film? Yeah, partially, and then it goes into a bunch of mediums and a bunch of different shit like that. Like, it's not weird like that. Yeah,
these stills are fucking frightening.
Yeah, the Wolf House has some horrifying imagery. It's quite disturbing, and it's more so disturbing when you realize the papier-mâché dolls are life-sized because they're real props.
Oh my god, that's awful.
So they're 6 feet tall, huge papier-mâché dolls.
I think there's a lot of frightening stuff in the Lighthouse, too.
The Lighthouse was creepy. I liked when he was smashing the seagull against the rock.
That was fucked up.
Very odd movie.
Or the mermaid. She's so creepy. Or even, like, Willem Dafoe's face is just fucking creepy. Like, I wouldn't want to be stuck in an island with him for 2 months.
Yeah. No, he's like a lunatic in this movie. The moment that they land there, he's on edge, and he just hates him, and he definitely wants to control Robert Pattinson's character. Sometimes he's like really, really good friends with him, and they're getting along, and then just on a dime, he can just start hating him.
You know what that reminded me of? Have you ever watched Shutter Island?
Yes, that's the movie with the mental hospital.
Yeah, and what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, and he finds out that he was like there or some shit.
He was crazy the whole time.
Yeah.
So it reminded me a lot this time, watching it the second time, that Willem Dafoe was like chasing him with an axe, and then said, "Oh yeah, you were chasing me with an axe," and I'm like, is that actually what's going on, or is he just trying to fuck with him?
Yeah, this whole movie is just... It could really be interpreted in a lot of different ways depending on how you want to view it. Because, well, the ending, like, I guess, are we talking about just blatant facts? It's been out for a year and a half.
Yeah, we can just talk about random stuff. I mean, we told people to watch it, and I feel like the discussion, like, I don't really care about spoilers. And even if this movie is spoiled, right, I don't think it really
I don't think anything. I could spoil it properly. No. So, like, the ending is... reality just starts to break. He sees...
He opens up, so the whole time Willem Dafoe is like going up to this light as Robert Pattinson is just doing manual work all day, and he's fucking this light that has tentacles coming out of it, and shooting jizz everywhere or something. And Robert Pattinson kills Willem Dafoe because Willem Dafoe doesn't want him to look in the lamp. He looks in the lamp, falls down the stairs. So he falls down the stairs. He's definitely in the lighthouse, and then it cuts. and he's outside being eaten by gulls.
Yeah,
naked.
Yeah, he's just dead. And it was said though before. How was it said that if you? It was something relating to if you kill a seagull.
If you kill a seabird.
If you kill a seabird, seabirds have the souls of lost sailors in it.
Yeah.
So if you kill a seabird, they will eventually feast on your corpse, and you will be a seabird. Yes, yeah, like it was brought up earlier in the movie that's what would happen to him.
Oh, I guess that's just coming home and getting him then.
Yeah, I guess.
I've read a lot of nautical stories. It remind me a lot of this Hellboy comic where Hellboy's like underwater fighting this sea hag witch.
Yeah.
And then he finds Davy Jones' locker and just starts kicking open all these cauldrons in there. And then that's what happens. It's just a bunch of dead guys' souls, but they're birds, and they just start flying out of the ocean. So I guess that's a
normal myth that's passed around, or like a folktale that's passed around.
As I was listening to the director's commentary too, I heard a lot of Robert Egers say like, "Oh, I did a lot of research into this and that." Like even the dialects and stuff of Willem Dafoe talking, like the way he talks, they did so much research on. And same thing with Robert Pattinson too. His accent is really based on a lot of Montana lumberjacks. So they were just like, yeah, there's recordings of these guys or whatever, and then they had that. So I bet a lot of these sea shanties and like the songs and the myths that Willem Dafoe talks about too are true to real life as well.
Yeah, like the whole thing, it was very immersive, I guess would be the proper word. It's hard for a movie to be properly immersive, but it was a whole... I'm not remembering. It was black and white, right? The whole movie.
Yeah, it really sold you on the authenticity and the place that the movie set in.
Yeah,
like, it didn't feel like a fucking... What's that movie where the guy who made Family Guy was making fart jokes? In the Old West?
How Million Ways to Die in the West? That's what you're talking about. Million Ways to Die in the West. It didn't feel
like that. It felt like a Kubrick movie or something. It felt very, very true to itself.
Yeah, it felt horrible. They were on a small island, and it was raining 50% of the time while they were there, and it was just shit the whole time.
They filmed in Canada, eh? They filmed in Nova Scotia or something.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Me and Cass were talking during this movie. Can you still, can you be a lighthouse person? Is that still a job?
I don't think so. It's the way that they're there for like months or whatever, because a lot of nautical navigation stuff is done with like satellites now, so they don't need they can just put the boat on autopilot and use their GPS to get places. Yeah, so they don't really need to see a light out on the side to not ram into the rocks or whatever. I think there's still lighthouses and stuff, like there's some used for like tourist things, but I don't know if they're used for navigation as much anymore. Yeah. Can you imagine like being one of these guys and being out there for 6 months of the year just sitting by yourself on this around rock?
Like I feel like there has to still be lighthouse people that sit there. Like I don't know, there has to still be some place in the world where some old fucker's just sitting in a lighthouse alone
doing absolutely nothing. Filling up the tower with oil and fucking the monster in the light.
Yeah, so there was Cthulhian aspects up at the top of the lighthouse. Did you ever really see, or they didn't really ever explain that? It was kind of just
and that's the part of the whole Lovecraft part of it too. That stuff just happens and it's not explained, and the implication in Lovecraft is that like you go insane and die if you know what this is. So I guess that did happen in this movie too.
Yeah, I mean they both went insane and died. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like the comedy and stuff that was in it?
I chuckled a few times. I think mostly because of how horribly awkward and anxious the movie made me feel the entire time watching it. Like
I think I was rewatching some David Lynch movies, talking about him again too. But he puts a lot of like weird ass shit in the stuff that he makes just to laugh at. Like I was watching Eraserhead again, and there's this scene where the guy is just standing there, the main character is just standing there in this elevator, and the doors don't close for like 20 seconds. He's just standing there. It makes me laugh every time. There's stuff like that in this movie too, where like Robert Pattinson is taking the bedpans out or whatever, and he throws them and he gets all the shit in his face.
Yeah. Oh, yes, when he's outside.
That reminded me of The Big Lebowski, where they fucking chuck Steve Buscemi's ashes out and they get a face full of it.
I liked when it was a 20 or 30-second uncut sequence of Robert Pattinson trying to wheelbarrow back at all the oil and stuff, and it just falling all over the ground and trying to scoop it back into the barrels while it's like just going into the soil and stuff.
There's a lot of like you can I probably would have gone insane too. Like Robert Pattinson lugs that huge thing of oil up the stairs for Willem Dafoe, and Willem Dafoe could have at any point said, "Oh no, just take this can downstairs and fill it up." But he takes it all the way to the top of the Lighthouse, and then Willem Dafoe's like, "Take it back down."
Take it back down. Next time, use this. It's a lot easier, but take that one down first.
There's definitely like a point in the movie though where it goes from like, this is weird and I don't know what's going on, to, oh, this is utter madness. It's when he says that he let that guy die or whatever, that he let the original whatever his name is, the guy who's pretending to be fall into the rock slide or the log slide and just died. And then that's when the movie's like bam, and it just is insane the whole time.
Yeah, what was it? Robert Pattinson's character was a lumber mill, and how did he let the one guy die?
So he's a lumberjack, and the way that they used to move a lot of lumber back when they were cutting stuff down late 1800s is that they do it near a river, and they use the river to move all the logs, and then they collect them up and do whatever with them, right? So this guy was standing there, and they saw this like avalanche of logs coming down the frickin' river, and he just stood there and didn't help him, and he fell in and died.
Classic.
Why'd you spill your beans?
William Dafoe's character was just a lighthouse keeper. He'd been doing this like his entire life or something.
Well, he kept saying stories of his backstory.
He did. No, he said he was an army sergeant.
Yeah.
And he used to have a wife and kids. And
he told a story about like breaking his leg at a whorehouse or something.
Yeah.
Or a convent.
And you find out all that is apparently absolute bullshit.
Yeah, even at the end, he's still changing his story. Like, he's saying that, you know, he was on a ship and everyone got scurvy and their teeth were falling and they were eating grass.
He did say that. I forgot about that. Mm-hmm. Oh, if I got scurvy, I'd eat grass.
Yeah, I think that, like Shutter Island, this movie does a lot to put you in the shoes of Robert Pattinson more than Willem Dafoe. So as this stuff is happening, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is going on, not that.
Yeah,
like,
you follow Robert Pattinson way more than William Dafoe. The only time they're ever together is really at dinner.
When he's either yelling at him or they're getting drunk and like almost kissing.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of stuff about this movie that it's about like homosexuality and stuff like that with it.
Well, yeah, there's definitely some elements of that, especially like I think that goes part and parcel when these two dudes are just by themselves for a month and a half, constantly masturbating with no one else around.
Yeah, true.
Like, I didn't get a lot of vibes like that. Like, I've watched a lot of westerns. Like, there's this western called Appaloosa, and it's got Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen in it, and that is the gayest film I've ever seen. And no men kiss in it. Yeah. It's about, like, Ed Harris meets the girl from Bridget Jones' Diary, and then Viggo Mortensen gives up his whole life so he can live a good life, and they're, like, best friends, and I'm like, wow. They were the real love story in this film. Did you get a lot of that feeling besides that one scene where they almost kiss?
I don't think so. Like, at that point when they almost kissed, I was like, okay, they're going mad. They've been here for too long. Like, I don't think any of them before that had any feelings of love towards each other. And then when they almost kiss, they're both like furious from it, and they both instigate that why would the other person want to kiss them and make a move onto them.
They just start fist fighting.
Yeah, they just start to fight immediately after that. And there wasn't any mention of why there are no female lighthouse keepers, right?
Oh, well, I think that, you know, set in the 1800s, this is still along those lines of, like, there are men's jobs and women's jobs for women and stuff, so I wouldn't think...
A man is born to guard a lighthouse.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that there'd be... Maybe there were, like, pairs of people, like a husband and a wife or something that took care of them. There's probably stories about that. But if it was, like, a government thing, they probably wouldn't send a lady and a dude, because they'd probably fucking kill each other or something.
Yeah, true.
Horrible shit would happen. Yeah, anything else that stood out to you about this movie, Dan? Like, what was some of your favorite elements of it?
I really liked anything with the well, there was one moment in it where Robert Pattinson's character found, I guess we're supposed to take it at face value, a literal mermaid, because the one time it was a dream, but then the other time it was very clearly not a dream. He found a literal mermaid.
Yeah, he found a mermaid, and she started laughing at him.
Yeah.
He runs into the house, and Willem Dafoe's just like, "What are you doing? Go do your job.
Well,
You stink of shit."
The second time that happens, isn't he having sex with her, and then William Dafoe's character transforms into, like, an octopus man and wraps around Robert Pattinson or something like that?
Well, I think there's like a dream sequence or something that's going on where he's like jerking off or something, and then he's having sex with this fish vagina or something.
Yes, you see the fish cloaca.
And then there's this scene where he's like out in the water, like out in the storm or something, and then he gets grabbed by Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe's naked, and he's shooting like lighthouse light into his eyeballs. And then I don't know if that happened or not.
I mean, I also liked that there was a lot of phallic imagery with the lighthouse. One of the scenes even started with the camera horizontal and the lighthouse just
turned up.
Yeah, it just turned up. It was very, very obviously supposed to be an erect penis.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a lot of homosexual energy. I don't know if I read that.
I wouldn't say that, no.
But there's definitely a lot of male imagery. Like, there's a lot of, like, male frustration, talking about girls, drinking, fighting, fucking, like, all that stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, what, did you obviously enjoyed it enough you have the Blu-ray, you've watched it twice?
Yeah, you know, I don't think I've talked about it on this show before, but I have 800 Blu-rays and DVDs.
Copious amount.
Yeah, I like collecting them, and I definitely, this is one of those films where I like The Witch, I like the first one, I like the director's style, so I knew that I was probably going to like it, so I ordered it. I only think that's bit me. And I'm going to say, too, that even if I watch a movie and I don't like it, there's probably enough stuff into it where I can say, oh, this is good and this is bad or whatever. There's very few movies that I watch and I'm like, that was an utter waste of time that I can't even stand.
Yeah, that's always the worst.
It takes a special movie for me to say that.
Yeah, that's always the worst. A movie could be as bad as goddamn possible, but if it's boring, it just doesn't. Yeah, if it's boring, I don't care about it at all. Like that goddamn movie we mentioned last podcast, The Deadly Detention. Fuck me, I've almost forgotten everything from that movie. I couldn't tell you.
I think that it bothered me enough where I still remember elements of it. I'm trying to think of a movie that I just, like, was nothing. You know what was the movie that was absolutely nothing? It's that movie we saw together with Cassie in the theater around Halloween time. It was that movie based off those books that people like. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Yeah, and I was liking that movie quite a bit until the end when they just sequel baited it, and I went, oh, so that meant nothing then. The entire movie meant nothing now that they just want to make a second one, because they wrapped it up so nicely.
I think the main problem with that movie was that everyone remembers the illustrations from the book, and that was the best part of the movie, was the look of the monsters and stuff, but the story was just shit.
It was nothing.
I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like the It remake, where the kids were like, stuff's going on, we gotta investigate, but I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of how I felt with It Chapter 2. I think I saw that in theaters with Cassie and a couple other people.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, no, I watched It Chapter 2, and then right when it ended, I was kind of like, is it just me, or was that not very good? Yeah, I was like, was that not very good?
Well, have you seen the original It?
No, never.
Okay, so I've watched that, and it's like 4 hours long. And definitely the first part is just the best part. Like, I don't...
Well, yeah, the kids. That's what I've heard.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
So the second part sucks ass. And I was like, unless someone tells me, like, watches It too, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is just as good as the first one, I'm not going to see it. And everyone was like, that was worse. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to watch it at all.
Yeah, like, well, in the second one too, the best parts of the goddamn second one were the flashbacks that they prematurely made of the kids in the first one, but now they're all older a little bit.
Now it doesn't make sense because they're 2 years older.
Yeah, like, very confusing. But
Finn
I wanted
Wolfhard now has a mustache.
I wanted to briefly mention, because you remember I got some Blu-rays for Christmas too. Cassie got Joker.
I haven't seen that. Have you watched it?
Oh yeah, it's good as hell. It's very, very good. You should watch that. I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
That was that movie last year where everyone wouldn't shut the fuck up about it, so I didn't want to see it.
Yeah, Cassie got Joker. I got the new My Hero movie, like new anime movie, My Hero Heroes Rising, I believe is what it's called.
The floppy film. Yes.
Yeah, and I also got I got Iron Giant in Blu-ray.
Oh, that's so good. It's such a good film.
It's really good. Me and her watched it. She's never seen it.
Oh, really? What did she think about it?
She liked it a lot. I found it interesting because there was a scene that wasn't in the original movie that they animated that was apparently storyboarded but never got fully animated, so they animated it, and it was very interesting. It gave a lot of backstory into the Iron Giant. It showed, like, it was a dream sequence, and it essentially showed a dream where the Iron Giant remembered where he came from, and it was like an army of Iron Giants destroying a world.
Oh, God.
And it was very interesting. Like, the animation style was a little bit different. So right when it happened, I was like, that's never in the movie before. But it was kind of cool.
Did they have it as a special feature, or was it like they just put it in the movie?
It was there was like a signature edition and the theatrical cut. And they're the exact same length. It's like 30 seconds difference or something like that.
They did that to my favorite movie. Maybe it's not my favorite movie anymore, but they did that to The Good and Bad and the Ugly, where they just put they had these scenes that they hadn't dubbed in English, and in the 70s or the 80s, they had them redo the lines, and just put them in the movie. And now whatever version you buy, it just has those lines in it. And it's so weird because it's like, okay, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, they're in their 30s and 40s, like they sound normal, and then they're like 80 years old talking as their characters. It's really noticeable and really bothers me. But yeah, what else did you get?
For Crimbas, we got a lot of nice. Let's wrap up. Let's wrap up our little conversation on the Lighthouse. What are your thoughts on it? Good, bad, worth a watch?
I think that if you like weird movies, like if for some reason you're an art house person and you want to watch a new movie, this is definitely one I've enjoyed very much. That hit on almost every level.
Yeah.
If you're a normal person and you don't like watching, like, a lot of horrible shit happens in this movie. That's not very nice. So I don't know if you'd want to watch it if you were a regular ass Joe, but I don't know. I liked it a lot.
I think you'd know if you wanted to watch this movie when you saw the aspect ratio. I think a lot of people would say, I don't want to watch it in black and white in a square.
Yeah, if you're one of those people who can't watch a movie because it's black and white and in 4:3, then don't watch it. It's not going to change your mind.
I liked it, and I'll say when COVID's over, let's watch it again and drink while watching it.
Just descend into our own madness. We'll drink... what are those things I made that we all got disgustingly drunk and fell over? Oh, Hemingway daiquiris. I'll make those and we'll die.
Yeah, but I'd be down to talk about Christmas ending sequence. I also know what I would like to talk about next time as well.
So let's talk a little bit about, like, did you get any other movies for Christmas and stuff?
Movies, no. I got a Junji Ito book that I was missing. I got Venus in the Blind Spot. Not the very newest one, not Hellstar Remina, but I got Venus in the Blind Spot because I missed that one. We got a lot of apartment stuff. We got a crock pot, we got a rice cooker, some board games. I got I got a Gunpla that Cassie got me. I got her a board game that she was wanting that we're gonna probably try tonight. But a lot of utilitarian stuff that is very nice to not have to buy on our own. Lots of pans, a lot of nice stuff. I'm very, very
And you got camping stuff too, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a camping cookware set, which I'm very excited to use when it, is still nice. I still need to get a new tent, but that's not a huge thing.
I mean, you could look for deals right now. A lot of people buying tents in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
I didn't get very much for Christmas. Like, I don't really ask for much. I just ask for, like, underwear and socks. I'm the boring adult that just needs more underwear. But, I got a nice bar set, and that was about it.
Yeah, you were saying.
I usually do, like, the big Christmas where I buy stuff for my friends and stuff, but this year I didn't. I just thought I'd save money and just chill.
Yeah, I could say. Yeah, we didn't really go extra buying people stuff this year. We kind of bought one thing for everyone, because obviously we're not really meeting people. We're just kind of dropping stuff off, if that.
What are we doing next week, Dan? What are we doing in 2 weeks? It's your pick.
So I kind of wanted to talk about... I was going back and forth. I either wanted to talk about our plans for 2021 and what we think the year is going to be like and what we really want to do this year, or our, like, 3 of our favorite games that we have played in 2020.
Oh, like an end of the year kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that I think we should do the game one, just because this whole year, this is the year I got my gaming PC and stuff, so I'd be excited to talk about like the shift in perspective that I had and stuff like that. That's my selfish answer.
I wanted to do that too. I liked it because I played a lot of stuff this year and I could talk about. Yeah.
So is that what we're doing for next time?
Yeah, so next episode, we will be talking about pretty much some of the best games that we've played this year, and specifically...
Does it have to be from 2020, or...?
No, God, no, yeah. So I've played... My best games of this year will basically be the games I have played this year. It doesn't matter what year it's from originally.
I'm up for that, too. I often like those lists more, just because I feel like when I'm watching a YouTube video of someone making a list of top 10 games of 2020, it's pretty restrictive.
It's all the same shit on almost everyone's list.
The same shit, just in different order, and you can tell when there's just like filler spots, because I'm like, oh, I played this, I better throw it on.
Yeah, so next time we're going to discuss some of the best games that we've played in 2020. It doesn't have to be from 2020, and kind of end up the year in the shack.
This is getting released on the 28th. So it'll be in the new year, but I mean, who cares? It's our podcast.
It doesn't matter. First podcast of the new year.
Yeah.
That is it then.
I think that's the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out in the shack today.
This year in general, this is we're closing the doors for 31st and January 1st. I'm going to be a year older.
We're demolishing the Phallic Lighthouse of 2020 and erecting a
brand new Stonehenge in its place.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the end. How take us out, Dan? What do you want to do? What do you want to do to take us out?
I don't know.
You know what? This week I'll sing Ave Maria.
Okay.
Ave Maria.
Good night, darling.
Goodbye, Jill.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Dan.
Good night, everybody.